Okay, hi. Hi.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. So I have a few questions actually regarding RaceChip.
Sure.
Can you, in simple terms, what would you say RaceChip is? Because some people might not understand what it actually is.
Yeah, well, RaceChip is a plug-and-play unit, so you install it it depends on the car which sensors, but usually 2 to up to 5-6 different sensors, but still installation is kind of easy. It piggybacks on the ECU, changes and modifies the signal of the sensors, give it back to the ECU, and then increase the performance based on it.
Right. So it's basically, based on what you said, it's basically like a signal amplifier. So whatever signal it gets from the sensors, it will send to the ECU, but it will keep within the limits of the ECU, right?
Yes, we're gonna keep it inside the limits of the ECU, and we are handling the signals the way we want to handle them, right? So we're gonna strap the car on the dyno, develop the product for, and during the development process, we check which kind of signals does the car have, how we need to modify them, that the car is or the ECU is doing what we want and we expect actually. And in the same process, we are checking also the limits of the engine, of course.
Right, so if everything is based on the limits of the ECU, so let's say the manufacturer has put in a certain limit, how do you actually gain that additional power?
The ECU actually leaves a little bit wiggle room, what you can use, and that is the window you can actually use for the tune. So if people are saying, yeah, just gain a lot more power, it's not that simple, right? So we have to stay in the limitations of the ECU and what the ECU actually gives us as options to do. So you cannot basically gain like 200 horsepower. That is simply not possible. That is a positive thing because you also keep inside the safe spot of the ECU. So you're not going outside of its safe zone.
So I think I have another question. Why don't the manufacturers do it from stock?
I mean, sometimes they do. If you have a look at certain manufacturers like BMW, they offer the same engine in different power specs, while the hardware is mainly the same. And also manufacturers have to keep a certain safety window for adjustments based on the country itself, like also the full quality. Sea level plays a huge role, so the manufacturer has to keep a certain safety level, and that is the safety level we use for the tune.
Rick, just now at the launch, you mentioned something where you gain power, but at the same time you have the power available throughout the ref range. So if it's like a signal enhancer where like I said just now, it takes the signal from the sensors and gives it to through the ECU to the actuators, how do you maintain linearity throughout the power band?
Yeah, so we are connecting, as mentioned, to different sensors like boost sensor, intake pressure sensor, also the cam position sensor, which is used to get the RPM. So we know, or the module knows and the software knows exactly in which type of situation the engine currently is. And due to our development, we are writing the map based on that. And that is how we configure that, like, we can keep it through the ref range or just do it in a specific ref range. We can also just develop the tune like it's only active until 3000 RPM as an example, if we want to do that. However, for a daily car, it makes absolute sense to have it all over the RPM range. And basically, most of the time, the target for the development is to keep the behavior of the engine same as stock, but just raise it up. Because most of the cars are really good already in stock, so you don't want to destroy the behavior. Just make it a little bit more, maybe a little bit more aggressive if you want to. But usually we're just going to keep the stock behavior and raise torque and horsepower. Yeah.
Okay. One last question, sir. I noticed that most of your products that you offer are for forced induction vehicles.
Yes.
Any plans on doing for naturally aspirated vehicles?
We considered it, but the thing is, on NA engines, the power gain is very little. So I think many people would complain that the power gain is too small.
For the price.
Yeah, for the price. And that's why we said no, we are not going to do it. And also, if you have a look at different markets, like also the Malaysian market, Proton is going for turbocharged engines. Even in the big pickups, Ford is going for turbocharged engines. US market is going for turbocharged engines, so they're reducing like the capacity of the engine, but put a turbocharger on it. So that's, at least in our opinion, in my opinion, that is the future. And also to hold emission standards, it's way easier to hold emission standards for the OEM with smaller CC engines than with bigger ones. So I don't think it is worth to spend time in development for that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.